Hey, I hope you're doing great today. Today we're going to show you how to create a multi-tenancy CMS with Next.js and Payload CMS. Payload CMS offers a very good multi-tenancy plugin, and they also have a website template that you can use, and it will give you a full front end. So we're going to show you how to use the multi-tenancy plugin so you can have as many sites as you want in a single CMS. So you could have multiple users that have access to one single site, and then have other users that have access to other sites. And they can all be different, and they can log in different URLs. So different domains, they will have their own login, and this is just the base. So you'll have to, update a lot of more files than what I show you here and what you'll see on the repo that I will share in this video. But this will give you the base for multi-tenancy pretty much. So you'll be able to have multiple domains. Like you can see here, we have one domain, coolcars.next, and then we have flyingcat.next, and all that is running on a single project on Next.js. All right, let's get started. Okay, the first thing we have to do is type sudo -u PostgreSQL, and that will get started with the creation of the database. So now to create the database, we type create, uppercase, create database, and then we type the name of the database, which in this case, let's name it Multi-Tenant CMS, and then the owner in uppercase. All this is going to be in the description, so you can just copy paste the commands. Tech, I think that's it. Do the semicolon. Okay, now the database is created, and just to confirm that the database is created, you type /L, and you see the databases. Now to escape, just press Q. We see the database, multi-tenant CMS, so press Q. Oh, no, it's forward /Q, backward /Q. Then we go on the next step, which is going to be to create our app. So now we're going to go to the directory where we want to create it. So ls, we're going to go to cd programming, cd YouTube, and then we're going to create, let's just create the app, and then when we create the app, the folder will be created automatically. So let's do npx create payload app, and then enter. The project name will be Multi-Tenant CMS. Okay, it's well spelled. So let's choose the website template. Very important, so we can implement the front end and move quickly. And we're gonna choose Postgres. Okay, now we got it. We wait for the install. It'll take a while, so I'll cut the video. So now that the app has been installed, then we can cd into it, cd multi-tenant CMS, and then we can do, since the installation has already been done, so all the packages are there, we can do pnpm dev, and then we can open our browser and load the page. Okay, now we have to create our first user. That's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna just make up an email. This is gonna be admin@outlook.com, a fast password, and this is gonna be just admin. So we create the first user, and this is what we get. We get the CMS, and now what we have to do is install the multi-tenancy plugin. So we're gonna close our terminal here, and we're gonna start our VS Code instance. So code dot, and then it'll open a new window. Of course, it opened on my other monitor, so let's drag that into here. Let me close this first. We don't need it anymore. We're gonna use the VS Code terminal. Let's put it on the side. Maybe this side is good. Okay. So now that we got this, we can open the terminal, and I got the command ready. So just to copy paste it to install the Multi-Tenancy plugin. That's the next step we have to do. So let's do that. It's all installing well. Once you get it installed, the first thing you have to do is, I'd say, let's create the tenants collection. So what we do, we go to source, we go to collections, and then we create tenants. So we create a new file, tenants/index.ts, and we're gonna create our new file. And to accelerate the guide, I'm gonna be copy pasting a lot of things. Of course, I'll have the repo available for you guys too. So this is the tenants collection. It'll have the name, domain, slug, and the logo. Once we save, we have to go and add it to the payload config. So we import it down here. Let's put it down here where all the collections are. Import tenants from collections tenants. Okay, that's a good auto completion. And now we go and add tenants. So now that we have tenants, pm dev, we can restart our application and reload our CMS. Once we reload the page and we see that the CMS is loading, we'll see the tenants collection. So now we're gonna go and edit the users collection so we can add some details about the multi-tenancy plugin. So we go to users, index, and we're gonna add a small piece of code. We're gonna import tenants array field from add payload CMS. It's gonna be /plugin dash multi-tenant fields. Okay, now that we got that, we're gonna add this piece of code that I'm gonna copy paste. We gotta make this fast. So we copy this. This is a new field that you're gonna add, or fields that you're gonna need. But the main field is the roles field that is gonna have the options of tenant admin and tenant viewer. So to do that, you also have to add some helper functions. So we're just gonna import them. Even though they don't exist, we're gonna make them right now. So we're gonna make this one first. So we're gonna go to access. We're gonna create a new file, is superadmin.ts, and then we're gonna copy paste this code. And again, you'll have all this code in the description, so you'll be able to see the reference to the code, and you can see it here to pause the video if you want to type it. Now we're gonna do this. This is so when you log in, the tenant is automatically selected when you log in from the tenants domain. So /set. Again, just copy paste this code. All right, you can see it all. Okay, you can pause the video right there, or copy paste it from the repo that I'm gonna leave in the description. Okay, now we go back to users, and we're gonna add the field down here. So, okay, we're gonna add the hook too. After login, the plugins is not right. This autocomplete is wrong. What we have to do is add it in the fields. Okay, in the fields we're gonna add ... default tenant array field, and then admin. We're gonna do this default tenant array field. That's correct. And then we're gonna put a position as a sidebar. Well, that's optional, but you know, if you want to have it on the sidebar, that's good. Otherwise, you can skip it. And also, we're gonna add one more field. This is gonna be a role selector. So let's do admin. Just define the position. Admin L. That's Y. Position sidebar. And then we do names, name role, type, select, default value. It's gonna be user, or you can do, you know, whatever you decide. Has many true, super admin. Okay, we're gonna take the auto completion, but we're gonna delete this because this is not true. And required, we don't need this to be required. And then access, we're gonna do update, just set it to true. Then on a more advanced settings, you can have your own rule. Okay, and then autocomplete the bracket, and we're good to go. Now we just need a comma here. Oh, position is not declared sidebar. Good. Set cookie based on domain. That's why the name is wrong. So is this okay? It's good to go. Now we have our users. Now we're going to move on to actually setting up the Tenants plugin, Multi-Tenancy plugin. So we're going to go to the plugins area. We go here and into index, and we're going to go all the way down. Well, let's first import it. We're going to import this Multi-Tenant plugin, and we go all the way down and we open our Multi-Tenant plugin setup. Okay, this is right somewhat. We're gonna type config. Now we type collections. And we're gonna define the collections that we want to be available for every tenant. So for this, we are gonna do pages because that's what we have on the website template. We're not gonna do any more settings. We're gonna leave it like that. Posts, if I can type. Okay, then we're gonna add, we want to add header and footer, but right now header and footer are globals, so it's gonna fail immediately when I do that. You know what, let's just add them, and we're gonna deal with it. Header, and we're gonna add some settings for this, because this is something that you want to be a global in the tenant. So is global is an option that you have to make a collection global within a tenant. Footer is global. Well, the auto completion is good, but this is bad. Okay, and we're also gonna do media just to have separate media, you know. But if you don't want to separate the media between tenants, you don't have to do this. But we're gonna do it for the sake of just showing it. Media. So now we're gonna declare who has access to what. So as you can see, this is failing. Maybe we can comment this out for now, so you can see the rest of the settings without seeing that failing. So we're gonna close the bracket, and we're gonna see why config is failing. I have to import config from payload types. So let's import that. Import type config. The import is kind of right, but it's not. Payload / payload types. That's about right. Okay. So now, remember that we added the is super admin function. So we're gonna import it too. Import is super admin from add slash access is super admin. That auto completion is right. So let's just leave it. We go all the way down again. We do this. So after we close collections, okay, I see why. Media is outside of collections. So we leave that there, and then we type users. Now user has access to all tenants, and the auto completion is wrong. We're gonna open some brackets, and we type users, super admin, user, that auto completion is right. Okay, good. And then to finish this, since in the users collection we added our own field for the tenant selection, we don't want the default tenant field to be there. So we're gonna do this tenant array field, and then we're gonna open curly brackets, and then we're gonna do include default field equal false. Okay, spelling y, let's see, tenant array field tenant. Okay, it's tenants, and that's why it was failing. Okay, so now we're good. If we save, this is good to go. So we're gonna fix the header and the footer, but for now, let's just reload it and see that nothing is failing. It seems like it's good. So now let's go to users and see what the user looks like. Let's expand this. You see that we have roles. So now we have the role of super admin. Let's just set it like that because we want the permissions of super admin. And you can select tenants, but right now there is no tenants, so no options, of course. All right, let's go back. Yeah, let's leave anyway. Let's go back to this. So now that we have our multi-tenancy setup mostly done, now we can add tenants to the CMS. So actually, let's go back to the CMS. Let's just make it a little bit larger. So we're gonna go to tenants and create the first. We're gonna create 2 tenants in this case, just for showing how this works. So I'm just gonna make up flying cat domain, flying cat dot next, flying cat, just like that. We allow public read and we save. And then we create another tenant. We go back to tenants, create a new one, and you can create any tenant, any name, any site that you want to test on your local environment. You can do that. I'm just showing an example here, but you can, of course, you can do your own custom domains here. You don't have to follow this guide exactly. So now we're gonna go with cool cars domain, cool cars dot next, cool cars. We allow public read and we save. Now we have 2 tenants. So what's gonna happen now? If you go to the homepage, well, you don't have to go to the homepage, but you're gonna see this menu that wasn't here before. And now you can choose a tenant. So now you already have multi-tenancy, but there is more things to do. So in order for us to allow our local environment to load the different domains that we create, we have to change some settings for Next.js, and we have to go to Next.config. So this is a file that you have to add some rewrites. So Next.config, and we're gonna just copy paste this. It's a simple change, but also I want to recommend that you do this instead of what the payload website shows, because I tried to make it work as they had it, but it wouldn't work at all. So instead of copy pasting the example they have, and they have a rule here with brackets like that, and you have some rules to skip admin and API. We're gonna do it like this because it was messing up with how the domain was being passed down in the parameters with the wildcard folders, you know. So I'm gonna explain why this happened at the end of the video, but for now we're just gonna continue. So just add the rewrites and save, and this is gonna allow you to load the custom domains that we add to the CMS. But before that, so just add this. Once you see the error, we have to edit one more file, which is the hosts file for your local environment. So we can, for this, let's close the browser. Let's open the terminal on the side. I could have opened the terminal here, but let's just do this. So for this, you have two options. I'm gonna have some instructions in the description. After opening your terminal, you're gonna do sudo vim slash, just a slash, etc slash hosts, and then you type your password, and then you can edit the files. In this case, I already have the domains, but you can add all the domains that you want to allow, and then just to save, you press escape, WQ, sorry, and we're good. So now that you changed your host file, which you can also change with Nano, but now we are able to load our admin panel from a different domain. So now we're gonna load Flying Cat 3000, and it's gonna load exactly the same way as this did before. Obviously, we're not opening the admin panel yet. We're gonna do that. As you can see, we already have some front end because of the website template, but we're gonna change this so you can have your own logo and you can load the tenant exclusive data. So let's do that. So let's open admin, and you see that you can load the routes, which is pretty cool. It'll take a little bit. Okay. Admin at outlook.com. Now you see that we can log in from our own custom domain, and all is because of the edits that we did on our Next.config and our hosts file. Sorry, that's a mistake. What I meant to say is that the front end is going to allow you to set some a wildcard folder. That's what I call it. In app front end, we're going to have something like this, but with tenant, and that's what the Next.config file does. But what makes it so you can open your dashboard in a custom domain is the hosts file. So the next thing we want to do is we're gonna open this domain again, but we're gonna open just the Flying Cat domain, and we're gonna edit the front end. We're gonna edit the headers and the footer. So let's do that. First of all, let's go and go to the plugins, and let's uncomment this. This is gonna fail, but it's okay. We're gonna fix all the errors. So we're gonna go to the header collection. In this case, right now it's not a collection. The header is a global right now. So what we're gonna do is go to config. Instead of having global config, we're gonna have collection. So we're gonna edit this collection config, and we're gonna save. And now this revalidation is failing too, which is okay. We're gonna edit that too. And instead of global, we're gonna change this for collection. So we select the global, and then we type collection. Okay. So now the config is good to go. The front-end components are gonna be failing too, but that's okay. We're gonna fix that. So now let's go to footer, and let's do the same. Okay, now we're gonna finish editing our header. So we're gonna go to the component, and never mind, we're gonna go to the layout. First of all, layout, front end, and we're gonna do some changes here. Import headers from Next headers. So let's do that. We're already importing from that, so let's do that here. Okay, so we're gonna import headers. Now after importing headers, we're gonna want to do this here. So const header. Oh, that's a good autocomplete. Okay. Then we're gonna do const host equal, but we're not gonna do it like that. We're gonna do it like this. And this, we're gonna await this. Okay, now we're gonna do tenant, const tenant. And since we want to fetch the domain, we're gonna add a small helper function. Let's just comment this out just so it's not failing. So we're gonna add a small helper function in utilities, and we're gonna call this file, we're gonna call it fetch tenant by domain.ts, and we're just gonna copy paste what I already wrote for this so we can go faster. So as you can see, we're just importing the tenant types. We're just passing the types here, and all we're doing is getting the domain string, taking out the port, cleaning out the port. This is also going to work live too if you deploy it. And then we query the tenant, and we return it. So that's what we're going to do. Const tenant equal. Well, we're going to import the helper function first, right? So let's import fetch tenant by domain from at utilities fetch tenant by domain. Okay, so now we await fetch tenant by domain, and we pass the host, and then we provide such tenant to the header. Tenant equal tenant, and we do the same for the footer. Tenant equal tenant. Okay, this is failing because it's not ready to receive the tenant, but that's okay. We're gonna comment one out just so when we fix the header, it's ready to go. So now we're gonna receive the data here. So the first thing we want to do is we're gonna add another helper function, which is gonna help us to, instead of having this get cached global, we're gonna have our own get tenant cached global. So let's create that file. Let's go again to utilities, a new file, and we're gonna copy paste the file too, so we can do this faster. Tenant globals, and all this is just a copy of the get globals function, this one, but it's just changing the query so it adds the tenant, and we can query the tenant. So we can query the header according to the tenant. You know what? Because there is going to be more than one header according to how many tenants you have, but you want to query the header for that specific tenant you're loading. So now that we have that, we can go back to the header component, and we're going to change how we do this a little bit. So instead of importing this, we're going to import get tenant cached global, and we're going to edit this to get tenant globals, and we copy this here, and the only change that we're going to have is going to be that we're going to pass the tenant ID. That's good, but you know, let's oh yeah, we have to add the, we're going to change this. We have to add the tenant header props. We're going to add the header props here. Let's close the bracket. Let's do interface header props. That's a good auto completion. Then we do tenant or null, and we're gonna import the types of tenant too, and now we're good. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to add this. Okay. So now we're gonna add the tenant to the client. So let's just pass that here. Tenant equal tenant. This is going to fail because we haven't prepped the header client, which we're gonna prep now. So for that, we're gonna add tenant here, and we're gonna add a tenant to this. But before we do that, let's import the tenant types. Tenant. That's okay. Okay, now we have to use the tenant. So we're gonna use it for the logo, but in order to do this, we're gonna just pass the tenant, the entire tenant. So let's do this. Tenant equal tenant. Okay, so I took a small break just from recording, and I catched that I made a mistake here. So I had a typo here in the header component, and I already fixed it. And also I forgot about a step that we had to do. We're gonna go to the payload config, and we have to change the globals header and footer to collections. So this, we erase this and we add them to collections so the types change, because otherwise it's gonna keep showing errors for no reason. And then we can generate the types. So to generate types manually, you run pnpm payload generate types. You can see the command right here, and just do that, and a bunch of errors will go away because the types are correct now. And now let's go to the config. Okay, now to finish the header, we're gonna allow null this is gonna give us some more errors here, but we're gonna fix this by having a if tenant. Oh, okay, exactly what I thought. Then we declare const tenant ID equal tenant ID. We can even have the conditional here like this, and we're gonna change this a little bit. So what we're gonna do is take this away, say equal. Oh, the equal was already there. Okay, so we're gonna do some brackets like this, and then we wrap it, and then as header, and the tenant ID we pass it here, tenant, if I can type, ID, and then we fix our type errors, and that's how the header is gonna look. Also, let me know if the font size is looking good, or if you prefer that I do something like this. It's gonna be more uncomfortable for me to, do it this way, but if it looks better on the video, then I'll do it this way. But anyways, let's make it smaller again, just to keep it the same. And this terminal, we're not gonna use it, so let's just return it to, show the errors. Okay, so the next thing is we're passing the tenant to the header client now. We got all the way to passing it to the logo, and now we have to make the logo accepted. So for that, we're gonna add it to the props. We're gonna add tenant, but before that, let's import. We're gonna need two types. So we're gonna import type tenant and media, because we're gonna use media here for the images from payload types. Okay, so now we type tenant. This is gonna be optional, because if you load the site from your local host without the custom domain, then the tenant won't exist. So that has to be optional. And now we can add tenant over here. Well, it seems like the auto-completion already did, which is sometimes is good, Auto-completion is good sometimes. So we're gonna type const. We're gonna create a new variable, and we're gonna call it default logo, and then it'll be equal to the URL here. So I'm just gonna do this just like that, and that's the default logo, which is good. Okay, so now we're gonna type const logo, and we're gonna have this. So you open brackets, you type tenant interrogation mark logo, just in case the tenant doesn't exist, as media. So you add the types for media, and then you do as URL interrogation mark, and then colon string or null, and then at the end you type interrogation mark dot URL and default logo. So if there is no logo, the default logo will show up. And now we can just add the logo in the source. So we can erase this. You erase it, and then you type logo, just like that. And I think we are done here. Let me just double check. It looks good. It looks good. Let's save it. In this case, you could use the image component from Next.js. In this case, it's not being used, and we're going to leave it like that because this is not the subject of the matter. Okay. So it's failing to load the layout front end tenant. Okay, so it seems like it's failing because the fetch tenant by domain is not a function, and I think I know why. Because we never saved it. So because it was never saved, this was failing completely. So now we got the header completely up. So the only thing that we should do now to see the custom logo is to go to the dashboard, go to tenants, go to the flying cat tenant, create new. So we add a new logo and we select file. We're gonna go to downloads, multi-tenant, and I have a logo already set up for this. So I select the logo and then flying cat logo. The tenant is not selected for some reason, but we're gonna select it now, save. And now if we reload the page, it should show the logo. Well, it should. It's not showing it. Did we save? Okay, it seems like it's saved. Now, okay, so it was a user error. You know, I didn't save. I saved the image, but I didn't save the change to the tenant. And now we see that we have our flying cat logo. And now we can show more more of the branding of the website when you change domains. And we're gonna do the same for the footer. So we uncomment the footer, and now it's gonna fail again, which is okay. We go to the footer, and we're gonna change this. We're gonna import it from our new function. So this is gonna be get tenant cached global. Okay. Get tenant globals, and now it's failing because it needs the tenant ID, which we need to get here. But before that, let's import some types. So we're gonna import type tenant, and then footer, and we're gonna import them from add / payload types. Once we have our types, we can create a new interface, and well, it seems like it's calling it footer props, which is good. And we need to add the tenant or null, which is correct. Okay, I like the auto completion, but we're gonna do some small changes. That's why auto completions can be good. Return null. Let's just return just like that, and then we do const tenant ID equal tenant ID, which you could leave it like this and change this, but let's just do it this way. Well, you can do it however you'd like, but as footer, and then tenant ID. Okay, so now we got our footer receiving the data, and now I think we have to pass the tenant to the logo. Now the logo component will handle all the logics for the logo, right? So tenant equal tenant, and then yep, that's it. So now we have on our front end, we have the logos in the footer and the header. And if we load the other side, cool cars, let's load this, but it's gonna load the admin panel. Let's do it like this. It's not loading the logo, but If we go to tenants and we add it, let's make this a little bit larger so you can see this well. If we select our new cool cars tenant and go to the tenant settings, we add the new image, we select the file, cool cars logo, okay, cool cars logo, we save, and now we save the tenant. Let's not forget that, because otherwise the this is not gonna, this wouldn't work. Now we got the cool cars logo. So now we have to change the routes for the front end, and that's more work that we have to do in order to have like the pages. You know, if you make a home page for one tenant, you don't want it to be the same homepage for the other tenant. So let's do that. So we're gonna go to the front end folder, and we're gonna create a new folder, and it's gonna be called tenant, just like that. And this has to be called the same way as you declare it in the Next.config file. So if you have tenant here, then you have to name it tenant. You can have whatever you want. You can even have this in a different path, as long as you define the path here, the source, you know, where the folder is, then you'll be fine. So we close this because we don't need it, and we go to tenant, and then we just drag and drop slug move. They say yes, so the imports change. It's gonna, some things are gonna fail because we need to change a few things. You drag page and you move it, say yes. Now we got page. What else? Let's drag posts. So now that we have this, the first thing that we have to change is, obviously we are inside tenant, so we changed the routing a little bit here, and we're going to be pointing to slug, which is going to fix the error that we had. And slug is handling pages, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so this has to change, because now we have to receive tenant and slug. So as you can see here, we receive the parameters, but the only parameter that we're getting is slug. So we're gonna change that. Also, this is one of the reasons why I told you to use the website template, because you get all this, you know, you get all the layout for a website. So if you want to move quickly, you want to do this. You want to use the website template. Otherwise, if you're going to start a project from the ground up and, you know, develop everything and have your all your code, then you do it with the blank template, so it doesn't have anything, and you can still follow this guide, but obviously you'll do this until you get to your own front end and you create it. But in this case, we already have something, so let's do this. Const tenants equal await payload find. That's good. And we're gonna call collection tenant limit 1000. That's good. We're gonna do pagination false, and just we're just gonna close the brackets. So we do this just like that. And now we want to do const params equal await, and then we do a promise. Okay, So it's the auto completion is coming in clutch here, so that's good. Tenants docs map. Let's just name it pages equal await payload dot find collection pages limit 1000 pagination false, and then we do where, and then type tenant ID, and then we do this, we open brackets, then equals. Okay, this is right. Okay, tenant ID. Oh, I see why I made a mistake here. I didn't open the brackets, so it'll be like this. And we'll do something else. Let's add a select. So it's selecting less data. We're gonna just do select slug equal true. So we only select the slug. And this is just so the creation of the static pages is done. We don't need this, so let's erase all this. Just erase it, get rid of it. We're gonna do a return. Okay, this return looks okay, except that we want to do this slug, and then we do tenant domain, and then slug. You don't need to type anything else. All that doesn't do anything. Okay, you close the brackets. Yeah, that's right. Then you just return params flat without all that. But you don't have to have this. Like, you could just erase it if you want to. And just to accelerate the process on the next steps, we want to we're gonna copy paste code because this is taking too long. I want to make this video as short as possible. We're gonna change a few things here. So we're gonna erase this. We're gonna leave it just as params home. Yeah, well, we'll change it. Let's do tenant, then slug, and let's close the bracket. Await params, that's good. And then we can do const page slug equal slug. So now let's do a few things. Let's erase. Okay, let's erase it. Let's just erase it, and we'll start fresh, so we don't have to worry about changing things just like that. Okay, so let's do let page require data from collection, and we select pages, which is correct, equal await query page by slug. This autocomplete is correct, and then we do tenant domain equal tenant, and this is a helper function that we have at the bottom of the page that we're gonna modify right now to allow the tenant to be a parameter. Page slug. Okay, I know this is failing right now, but it's because the function is not ready to receive the parameter. So we go all the way down, and this is the function. So we're gonna add the auto completion is coming in. Well, we're gonna add tenant domain, comma, space. And then we have to add the tenant domain as a string here too, which the autocompletion is getting right. And we also have to modify the query. So where has to change slug. You erase this, just erase it so you can start fresh. So you're gonna have and then square brackets, and then you can type curly brackets and then slug colon and then open curly brackets again equals space slug, and then you're gonna add a comma at the end and open another curly brackets. So then you type tenant dot domain, which this is one of the fields that you have in the tenants collection, and then you open curly brackets again equals tenants tenant domain. This looks good. Okay. Of course it's gonna fail, so we're gonna do this page slug, just like that. Okay, so now we have our tenant is failing. Is it the types? Tenant does not exist. Oh yes, I haven't added the types here, so we add tenant as a string, and that's it. And now we generate the metadata, because otherwise it's gonna fail too. So let's do that. Params promise. Let's change this. Let's erase this. Await params. Okay, this is looking good. Well, let's do it the same way we did it before, just to keep it consistent, since we already did it like that. Const page slug equals slug or home, and then page, we have to add tenant domain equal tenant and slug. That's good. So now we have everything, but there is a few missing things that are gonna fix the error that is showing up right now. Since we don't have a home page, then it's not loading the default home page that it was loading before. So I'm gonna copy paste two if statements, but the if statement, the important one, is this one. This is the important if statement that we want to have. And this, in order to make this work, we have to convert this into a let, not a const. So that way you can change the value and not give you an error. And now we have the homepage back, but now we can add an actual homepage. So I'm gonna go to the CMS, and we are on cool cars. So if you add a page, let's just make it larger. Okay, pages, add a new page, home. Okay, and now we type some content. This is the home page for cool cars. Let's just make this uppercase. And then on content, we add a call to action, and let's just type hello world. Hello world. Okay, we got hero, we got content, and now we just publish the changes. Once we go to the cool cars homepage and we refresh, we should be able to see our new content, and there it is. So if we do the same for the other site, we're gonna reload the page, and you're gonna see that it's loading the default homepage. But if you go to Flying Cat, the domain, and go to pages and create a new page for that site, home. So now we got that. We publish the changes, And if we go to the Flying Cat homepage and refresh, we get the data that is for that site. So we have to do the same for posts, and that would complete this section here. But if you want to like do it complete, do a complete job, you would have to also do it for sitemaps. Sitemaps would be inside tenant, so that way you have the context of the tenant, and that way you can always know what tenant you're loading based on the URL. And I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna do it off screen. I'm not gonna change sitemaps. I'm just gonna change what I have in tenant right now. I'm gonna change posts. That way we can make this video faster, because it's taking somewhat long. So let's do that. So now I've edited all the files I wanted to edit for this video, and now I have the site with some links, and you can go to posts and you can see the posts. So in this case, the Flying Cat website will have some cat posts. You can make it about whatever you want. And let's go to cool cars. So you go to the homepage, you see this is the homepage for cool cars, and then hello world. You can have any content on the homepage. This is just a quick example of what you can do. And then you can click on home, which we are already on, or you can click on posts, and then you can open a post. Let's open the RX7 one. And then you can see that, we have some lorem text, and then the image, and this is what the site looks like. By default, the styles that come with the website template, and that's what you can achieve. But something else that I noticed, that where I made a mistake before and I didn't show you, is that you have to also edit the Next.config file, and you have to add this in order to see images. So just add this once you see the error, and the error will go away. I'll probably edit this in a way that I'll let you know in the right moment, when we edit this, because this is too late already. Okay, but that's it. That's what multi-tenancy is, So you would be editing way more files, because you have to adapt the whole website template. All the functions, like the one of the functions that I edited was auto-generating the metadata. So things like that is what you have to edit in order to accommodate for the multi-tenancy. So you'll be editing a lot of checks, a lot of processes, helper functions, and just making them so they work with multi-tenancy. And to make this easier, or to make it better for you guys, I will publish a repo with all the code that we just edited. So I will publish this repo. What I will do is create the project and push the payload project with the website template as is, and then I'll push another change which will have all the updates that you have to do for multi-tenancy. Of course, there's a lot of more things that you have to do to fully adapt it, but now you have the base. So you pretty much have something that is working, and you can go on from here. In the future, I will make another video where I will go like full in depth into everything, every single file you have to change. I'll make a product like a real life product where we can actually, show everything and all the small details that you can go into. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do yet, but you can expect that in the future. But for now, this is it. I think this will give you a good base of how to get started with multi-tenancy. And also, uh, in a few seconds, you'll see that I will show you the error that I told you about in the beginning that I got when I was using the script that Payload shows you on their website. So I will do that, and then you see what I meant. And that way, if you don't want to watch the video anymore, you can just stop it here and not watch what the error was. But if you are curious, you can continue to watch the video. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Alright, so I'm gonna show you guys the error I told you about with the rewrites. So if you go to the Payload CMS Multi-Tenancy Plugin page, which I'm gonna have in the description, they recommend that you copy a piece of code like this for the rewrites, and they will have something different here that says tenant domain. So the only difference is that my folder is called tenant instead of tenant domain. So that's why I have tenant here. But now we're gonna see the error in action. So we're gonna go all the way down to the logs, and we're gonna just reload the page. And I have some console logs. So okay, so now that you know what the code looks like, we're gonna go to post slug and the page, and as you can see, this is loading in the this is not loading here in this route here. It's loading in the slug, and it's loading posts, which is part of the route, and then posts -1. So okay, so this would be tenant and slug. So tenant and slug. But then if you load the page like this, so if you load cool cars dot next port 3000 and then cool cars dot next and then post 1, then it will show the page. And if you reload this page, the logs will show everything correctly. So we can go down here and we'll see that the domain is cool cars and the post is post 1. The slug is post 1, which is correct. If we go here, this is it. So that's the error I told you guys about. I'm not 100% sure why it happens. If you're an expert in Next.js, you might know why this happens, but the solution is just to not use this and use this instead. So we uncomment this, and this will obviously now fail once this loads, but then the correct route will work. Okay, I think we can reload now and it should work. Unless we have to restart the app, but we'll see. Okay, there it goes, and it loads. So now we're back to normal, and that's good. Well, that's the error. That's why I told you guys to use the code that I gave you instead of the code that It's on the official Payload CMS site for the Multi-Tenancy plugin. And that's about it. All right. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and let me know what you think about it, because this is the first time I ever do a guide like this, talking to the camera and explaining what I'm doing while typing. So I'm not used to it, and I'm sure there will be a bunch of mistakes throughout the video, but that's fine. It's the first time, so just let me know what you think about it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.